Tough one tomorrow. Should Philly fans still be thinking repeat? That's just a sampling of a jam-packed show we've got for you on First Take. All righty, to Cleveland we go. Shedeur Sanders became the first Browns quarterback in 3 decades to win his first start when Cleveland beat the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 12. He's going to get another one this Sunday against San Francisco 49ers. Head coach Kevin Stefanski announced that Sanders will remain the starter even with Dillon Gabriel clearing concussion protocol. Here's Shedeur on his mindset.
It could be taken at any point in time, so I'm never comfortable in a situation I'm in. I always want to exceed expectations and I always want to grow. You know, in each and every week, I would want to put a better product of myself, be a better version of myself for the team to be out there.
Okay, so there's 6 games remaining in the regular season for the Cleveland Browns. Stephen, I'm going to start with you here. We know Shedeur is starting this weekend, 2 in a row for him. What should his grace period be as the quarterback of Cleveland?
I wouldn't use the word grace period in terms of, you know what, he can go out there and stink up the joint like what happened with him when he was thrown into the game in the 3rd quarter in his first appearance. I would tell you that you want to judge him as a quarterback in this league. I thought what we saw against the Raiders shows us that he can play in this league, although it's the Raiders, and we have to take that into account. I think he's going to be in for a real test this weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he responds. I'm certainly rooting for him. I'm not going to apologize for that. I love the kid, and I want the kid to be successful. Going up against the 49ers and Robert Saleh's defense, Robert Saleh's going to have something for him, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he responds because the 49ers are not the Raiders. They are a different animal defensively. Make no mistake about that. But having said all of that, we have to remember, Shedeur Sanders, 2 for 4 on deep passes, 5 of 6 from behind the line of scrimmage, although he ended up completing 55% of his passes overall, throwing the deep ball. Also seeing, and I know RC and Woody can appreciate this, seeing Myles Garrett reaction. When he scrambled out, he picked up the blitz, scrambled out of the pocket to his right and threw the ball downfield the way that he did. And you saw Myles Garrett reaction because that's not something you've been seeing in Cleveland in quite some time. So I think those things are reasons to be positive. We should remain positive. I'm looking for him to show that he belongs in this league. That's all I care about. I don't, if he's spectacular, fine. If he's not, but he's good, fine. Don't be awful. Know what you're doing. Know what you're doing out there and show it and show your skill set. I expect him to do it, and that's what I think will happen.
There is no question that Shedeur Sanders should get the rest of the 2025 season to be the starter of the Cleveland Browns.
Absolutely.
Shedeur Sanders has to go out there and earn it each and every week. We've seen this process for Shedeur Sanders. We all lamented the fact that he ended up being a 5th-round draft pick when our evaluation said he should have been picked higher. He was 4th on the depth chart during training camp. He was 3rd on the depth chart at the beginning of the season. And I said then, if Shedeur Sanders is going to play, that means that everyone else has failed. Everyone else has failed, y'all. We know that Dillon Gabriel isn't the quarterback of the future for the Cleveland Browns. In 6 starts, his longest pass was 26 yards. You just talked about what Shedeur Sanders was able to create by improvisation and getting outside the pocket and pushing the football down the field to Isaiah Bond. Jerry Jeudy had a fumble on another play created by Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders should get more opportunities with the first teams, more opportunities to practice, and more opportunities to show his ability to lead a football team this season. And we know that Kevin Stefanski is going to make him earn that each and every week, but this shouldn't be a short leash situation. Kevin Stefanski behind the scenes should be going to talk to Shedeur each and every day and say, right now, this is your team. This is your opportunity to show us that even with the draft capital that we have gained for the next few years, we don't need to use it on a quarterback. We need to use it to build a team around you because you are the guy that we've been looking for.
Yeah, listen, for me, earn, not given. Earn, not given for Shedeur Sanders. Listen, we know that he has the NFL traits. We've seen the arm. We saw the pass last week, against the Las Vegas Raiders, where he, got outside the pocket and made that spectacular play. I believe it was a 54-yard play down the field. Shedeur Sanders had more 30-yard plus plays in last week's game than all of the quarterbacks combined. Okay, that's played for the Cleveland Browns this year. So that just shows you what this man is able to do. But I think, if you're Shedeur Sanders, you want to continue to earn the trust of the locker room. Because as you saw on the sideline with Myles Garrett in that one play, that 54-yarder that I spoke of, though clearly his teammates see what this guy's capable of, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, you got to continue to earn the trust from the locker room. So as long as he continues to play, produce, and show not only Kevin Stefanski, but the guys in the locker room that, hey, I'm the guy that can captain this whole ship here, then to me, that's the best way moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, the trust of the locker room, how does that get built? Over time. Becoming an NFL quarterback, showing you belong, like you said, Stephen A., that comes over time. Nobody can show that in 2 games. So if I ask you, Stephen A., what specifically do you need to see from him to show he can be a long-term starter in the NFL over 6 games? It's obviously not going to be a perfect picture, but what do you think that needs to be?
Continuing to build on his performance from last week. Don't get worse, get better. Because we all know that the Cleveland Browns don't have the personnel on the offensive side of the ball to brag about or to write home about. So if you find a way to continue to elevate and grow, despite being handcuffed to some degree because your offense is bereft of the weapons necessary to really, really make some noise, then that's going to speak volumes for him. And it's going to send a message that he indeed should be that guy moving forward into the future. I completely agree with RC. I should have said it earlier. He absolutely should start every game for the rest of the season because you know Dillon Gabriel ain't necessary to answer. Joe Flacco is gone, all right? And not only that, you got a couple of picks in the upcoming draft where you could go after a quarterback. So since all of that is in front of you, what do you have to lose by putting Shedeur Sanders out there every week, naming him the starter for the rest of this season and making sure everybody knows this is the guy that you have to game plan against? If you're his teammates, this is the guy you have to game plan to play with. Go out there and show us what you got. Make the team his for these last 5 or 6 games for the season. And that should position you as a franchise to tell you what you need to know so you can decide what you need to do in the upcoming draft.
Shedeur Sanders needs to prove himself right. And people love to cherry pick on social media the things that Shedeur says that makes him seem arrogant or too cocky. And they aren't truly listening to the entire picture. They aren't listening to him give God all the praise post-game as he's talking about the opportunity that he had to earn and the things he had to go through in order to get there. The other thing he has to do is be an asset, not a liability. Stephen A., you laid out all the deficiencies of this Cleveland Browns offense. Shedeur Sanders can't also be one of those. The egregious losses that we saw in college, the things we saw in the last preseason game where he's trying to make a play but yet hurting his team by running backwards, taking bad sacks, throwing the football into coverage. He can't do those things. And then on the other side of that, he has to make the occasional splash play. That's all him. The thing that people get drafted in the first round to do, the thing that people become franchise quarterbacks by doing. And if he can do those, I think he puts a foothold in that backfield as the starting quarterback of this team.
We also have to remember that entering this week, according to Pro Football Focus, the Cleveland Browns are considered the 3rd worst offensive line in the entire National Football League. So he's working against that too.
Yep.
Okay, well, you guys want to stay in the AFC North here? Why don't we go into the game that's tonight? So that's the Ravens and the Bengals. Joe Burrow returning to the lineup for the Bengals for the first time